Shams al-Din Abu Abd Allah Muhammad ibn Ahmad ibn Abi Bakr, commonly known by the Nisbah al-Maqdisi or al-Muqaddasi, meaning Jerusalemite, was a medieval Arab geographer, author of the best divisions in the knowledge of the regions and description of Syria, including Palestine. His work has been praised for its vivid descriptions, especially of his native Palestine, an identity with which he proudly identified.
Outside of his own work, there is little biographical information available about al-Muqaddasi. He is neither found in the voluminous biographies of Ibn Khaldun, d. 1282, nor were the aspects of his life mentioned in the works of his contemporaries. Al-Muqaddasi was from Jerusalem, Bayt al-Maqdis in Arabic, from which he received his name. He was particularly fond of the city and described it at length in his geographic work. He was born in Jerusalem in circa 946 and belonged to a middle-class family whose roots in the city's environs dated from the period approximate to the 7th century Muslim conquest. According to historian André Miquel, al-Muqaddasi was very much attached to the Palestine of his birth and to the town whose name he bears. Al-Muqaddasi, or alternatively al-Muqaddasi, was a nisbah indicating that he was from Bayt al-Maqdis, or Bayt al-Muqaddas, the Muslim name for Jerusalem. His paternal grandfather, Abu Bakr al-Banna, had been responsible for the construction of Acre's maritime fortifications under orders from Ahmad ibn Tulun, r. 868–884, the autonomous Abbasid governor of Egypt and Syria. Al-Muqaddasi's maternal grandfather, Abu Tayyib al-Shawwa, moved to Jerusalem from Beer in Khorasan and was also an architect. As can be inferred by his work and social background, al-Muqaddasi was likely well educated. Miquel asserts that al-Muqaddasi's use of rhymed prose, even poetry, is indicative of a strong knowledge in Arabic grammar and literature. Likewise, his writings show that he possessed an early interest in Islamic jurisprudence, history, philology and hadith. Al-Muqaddasi made his first Hajj, pilgrimage to Mecca, in 967. During this period, he became determined to devote himself to the study of geography. To acquire the necessary information, he undertook a series of journeys throughout the Islamic world, ultimately visiting all of its lands with the exception of Al-Andalus, Iberian Peninsula, Sind and Sistan. The known dates or date ranges of al-Muqaddasi's travels include his journey to Aleppo sometime between 965 and 974, his second pilgrimage to Mecca in 978, a visit to Khorasan in 984 and his stay in Shiraz in 985 when he decided to compose his material. The finished work was titled The Best Divisions for the Knowledge of the Provinces. The Regions of Islam in the 10th Century, based on al-Muqaddasi's work. Though possibly influenced by predecessors al-Jahiz, d. 869, who introduced the science of countries, and Ibn al-Faqih, Floruit 902, al-Muqaddasi surpassed both, all to the advantage of what certainly should be called a true geography, according to Miquel. Moreover, Miquel surmises that al-Muqaddasi was probably the first to have desired and conceived true geography as an original science, an assertion that al-Muqaddasi himself makes in the preface of Aḥsan al-Taqāsīm. He belonged to the school known as the Atlas of Islam, inaugurated by Abu Zayd al-Balkhi, d. 934, and developed by Istakri, d. 957, and al-Muqaddasi's contemporary Ibn Hawqal, d. 978. Al-Balkhi's school almost exclusively dealt with the Islamic world, to which al-Muqaddasi too devoted his studies. Al-Muqaddasi refers to this world as al-Mamlaka or al-Islam, the domain of Islam, a unique concept in which all of the lands of Islam constituted a single domain. He subdivided this domain into two parts, Mamlakat al-Arab, domain of the Arabs, and Mamlakat al-Ajam, domain of the non-Arabs. The former consisted, from east to west, of the 6 provinces of Iraq, Akkor, Upper Mesopotamia, Arabia, Syria, Egypt and the Maghreb, while the latter consisted of the 8 provinces of the Mashriq, Sistan, Afghanistan, Khorasan and Transoxiana, Sind, Kerman, Fars, Khuzestan, Jaibal, Dalam and Rehab, Armenia, Azerbaijan and Aran. Aḥsan al-Taqāsīm gives a systematic account of all the places and regions al-Muqaddasi had visited. He devoted a section of his book to Bilad al-Sham, the Levant, with a particular focus on Palestine. In contrast to travelers to Palestine, such as Arkulf circa 680s, Nazir Khusraw circa 1040s, and others, who were pilgrims, Al-Muqaddasi gave detailed insights into the region's population, way of life, economy and climate. He paid special attention to Jerusalem, detailing its layout, walls, streets, markets, public structures and landmarks, particularly the Haram ash-Sharif, Temple Mount, and the latter's dome of the rock and Jami al-Aqsa. He described the city's people and customs, focusing on its Muslims, but also its Christian and Jewish communities, whose significant presence he lamented. Al-Muqaddasi also gave extensive overviews of Ramla and Tiberias, the capitals of the Palestine and Jordan districts, respectively. To a lesser extent, he described Acre, Bison, Beit Jibrin, Caesarea, Amman and Eilat. In his descriptions of the aforementioned cities, Al-Muqaddasi noted their prosperity and stability and gave a general impression of Palestine as densely populated and wealthy, with numerous localities. Gila Strange comments on Al-Muqaddasi's work. His description of Palestine, and especially of Jerusalem, his native city, is one of the best parts of the work. All that he wrote is the fruit of his own observation, and his descriptions of the manners and customs of the various countries bear the stamp of a shrewd and observant mind, fortified by profound knowledge of both books and men. Al-Muqaddasi is also the one of the earliest known historical figures to self-identify as a Palestinian, having done so during one of his travels in Persia. Hafat Tuwum abounds in palm trees. It lies in the direction of Hajar, al-Hassa, and the mosque is in the markets. Dibba and Julfar, both in the direction of the Hajar, are close to the sea. Tuwum has been dominated by a branch of the Quraysh, Al-Muqaddasi, 985 CE. Al-Muqaddasi mentioned regions in eastern Arabia which form parts of what are now Saudi Arabia, the UAE and Oman. Al-Hassa is always an important oasis region in the eastern part of Saudi Arabia, whereas Tuwum is another oasis region split between the UAE and Oman, comprising the modern settlements of Al-An and Al-Barami on different sides of the Omani-UAE border. Dibba is another region split between the UAE and Oman, touching the Musandam Peninsula, which is partly ruled by the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah, where the ancient settlement of Julfar is located. For thousands of years, humans depended on geographers to understand the world. From Ptolemy drawing maps by hand, to Al-Idrisi mapping continents for kings, geography was once slow, uncertain, and limited by human reach. But today, the world has a new geographer. Not a person, not an empire, but a digital eye watching the Earth in real time. Its name is Google Maps. Google Maps is more than an app. It is the most detailed geographical system ever created by humankind. It knows the shape of mountains, the curves of roads, the depth of oceans, and the rhythm of cities. It sees what no ancient geographer could ever imagine. Every day, satellites orbit the Earth, capturing images of deserts, forests, borders, and streets. These images are stitched together using artificial intelligence, creating a living map that constantly updates itself. Roads appear, cities expand, borders change, traffic flows like blood through the veins of civilization. In the past, maps were frozen in time. Google Maps is alive. When a road is blocked in Tokyo, Google Maps knows. When a bridge collapses in Europe, it updates. When a new town grows in Africa, it appears. This is geography in real time. But Google Maps does more than show locations. It understands movement. It tracks millions of journeys every second: cars, buses, trains, walking paths. From this data, it predicts traffic before it even happens. It tells you the fastest route, not based on distance, but on human behavior. In this way, Google Maps studies us the same way ancient geographers studied rivers and winds. Street View takes this even further. With cameras mounted on cars, bikes, and even backpacks, Google Maps has photographed streets in over 100 countries. Villages hidden in mountains, markets in deserts, frozen roads in the Arctic, all preserved digitally. Some places no longer exist in real life, but they still exist on Google Maps. Wars destroy cities. Earthquakes erase towns. Time moves forward. Yet Google Maps becomes a digital memory of Earth. It also reshapes power. In the past, empires controlled maps to control land. Today, digital maps influence economies, tourism, business, and even war strategy. A misplaced border on a map can cause diplomatic tension. A renamed city can rewrite identity. Google Maps decides what is visible, and what is forgotten. For explorers, it is a guide. For businesses, it is survival. For travelers, it is trust. For governments, it is influence. And for historians of the future, Google Maps will be a primary source. They will study how cities grew, how roads expanded, how humanity moved across the planet, not through books, but through data. In many ways, Google Maps is the final evolution of geography. From cave drawings, to parchment maps, to printed atlases, and now, a glowing digital Earth in your hand. The ancient geographers mapped the world once. Google Maps maps the world every second. This is not just navigation. This is history being recorded live. And for the first time in human history, the entire planet can be explored. By anyone, from anywhere.